There is a difference between successful and sustainable. Ideally, you would have both, but I have seen some individuals, particularly coaches, chase success and neglect sustainability. So they'll get clients. Their clients will get some results and there are payments coming through here and there, but behind the scenes, they are exhausted. They are constantly working. They're feeling scattered and confused and chronically doubtful if they can really keep this going. Like, is this going to work long term? And they're just chasing and hustling for clients and opportunities without this clear plan or business model. And because of that lack of clarity and structure, it leaves them constantly reacting to external needs and these quote unquote opportunities and not actively shaping and creating a business that they want that's going to work long term. That's going to leave you creating and living in an environment of stress and burnout and potentially negatively impact not only you, but your clients as well, because that's a business that's like working in theory, but it's not one that's sustainable. And it's definitely going to hinder the service and impact that you can have because the focus is just on the business versus the clients and the product. And I'm not saying one's better than the other. In fact, I think both are equally important. I actually have an entire podcast episode called The 50/50 Coach that I'll go ahead and link in the show notes so you can check out. But if you want to be a professional and masterful coach, you do have to create systems in your practice and in your business that are going to foster success and service in a sustainable, aka consistent way. And I looked up sustainable, and basically to sustain means to maintain at a certain rate or level. That means not just hustling and experiencing these short bursts of success and then living in doubt and anxiety and hustle to try to make it happen again. Now, when I talk about sustainability, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper today. This is more than just like planning your day or chunking your task and then not even honoring those task or times. It's more than just raising your prices to make more money without actually taking the time to evaluate and improve your process and increase your value. It's more than just taking time off to refresh to prevent burnout, but then chronically worrying the whole time and coming back to a shit show. It's more than prematurely scaling and adding offers and freebies and funnels and ads and group programs without having the clarity and the systems that work and that are manageable. These are all quick fixes and they're reactive tactics. They are not sustainable and proven systems and structures that are going to make sure that you are building a business that's sustainable in terms of its impact and service. Because real structure supports your process, it supports your clients, it supports your energy, and it supports the entity of your business. And the most important thing that structure does that I don't think is talked about enough is it creates safety for both the coach and the client. And when there's safety, that safety creates the conditions for growth and an environment for change, both literally and psychologically. And when this is present, you're moving out of survival and into sustainability in your business and setting yourself up to, if you wanted to, eventually scale your business if that is a goal of yours. So today I'm going to give you 3 simple tips. They're not easy, but they are simple to clean up your business to help make it more sustainable on the back end first, which will positively impact the front end. I'm going to break each of these down, but let me just go ahead and give you the 3 right now. So they are deep work days, calendar audits, and back-end processes, okay? I'm going to go one by one in no particular order, but I'm going to break down what these actually look like. But those are the 3 things that for all coaches, whether you're newer or established, I think are foundational pieces to building not just a successful, but sustainable practice. Let's go ahead and dive into number 1, which is deep work days. So these are half days where you're spending at least 4 hours, if not ideally an entire work day, where you are working on your business, not just in your business. So basically, what this looks like is stepping out of daily operations and into the role of the CEO, the visionary. Think about it this way. In a Fortune 500 company, the CEO is not in the marketing meetings most times. They have their supervisors and their employees and those project managers and those contractors in the meetings. They are staying in the role of CEO. They are running the business. They are working on relationships and deliverables and vision and big picture tasks and projects. And I don't think that coaches step into the role of CEO often enough. They're stuck in the role of coach. And sometimes because you're a solo entrepreneur, you're also stuck in the role of marketer, and you're stuck in the role of assistant, and you're stuck in the role of graphic designer and invoicer and tax accountant and all the different things. And so really taking the time to put into your schedule at least once a month these days where you limit distractions and focus on only one to maybe two highly impactful tasks or projects that are going to help you look at the big picture and really evaluate your business as a whole. What's working, what's not, both on the back end and the front end. And when I talk back end, we're going to talk about this in a second. I'm talking business systems and structures and strategies and processes, not necessarily like the coaching calls themselves and what you're doing with clients. So maybe you choose to focus on some of those back end things like finances and budgets and team dynamics, or you focus on front end things like learning a new skill or creating a new program or planning a launch, or again, just making big decisions in your business that you don't have the time to really think about deeply and thoroughly without distractions. These are not opportunities to learn or check things off the to-do list or busy work. These are, again, high impact, big level CEO type tasks. I'll give you an example. So I do these monthly. And so for the next month, our CEO day, I'm focusing on streamlining. And that's the only thing I'm focusing on. So I'm going to spend an entire day, 8 to 12 hours, where I'm writing out every single task I do in my business. And I am going to decide what can get deleted, what can be delegated, and if we need to hire our team or streamline our team, and what can be automated so that I continue as we bring on more in our business and add more value and have a deeper impact and fill our programs, stay in my zone of genius, which is an educator, a trainer, and a coach. So that's the focus of my next CEO day. I'm not going to be doing emails, client communications, any coaching calls, or any behind the scenes busy work that I usually have to do to maintain our podcast, our coach question of the week, our email list, our social media presence, and all the things that we have going on behind the scenes. And if this is something that you're really interested in learning more about, I have 3 book recommendations for you. One of them is called Deep Work by Cal Newport. Essentialism is also a really great book and talks about this. And then there's also a good book called 10X is Easier Than 2X by Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan. And they also kind of allude to this concept of working on your business versus getting stuck and distracted in the details of working in your business day to day. So the second tip I have for you to not only achieve success, but do so in a sustainable way in your coaching practice, whether you're new or established, is calendar audits. So this actually can be a task that's done on a deep work day, but I actually encourage these to happen more often, more in alignment with a weekly practice, if not daily. And so what this is you look at your day and how you actually spent your time, and you evaluate either proactively or reactively, what are the priorities? How long did it take me to complete those tasks? What were the distractions? How can I limit them? What time was I most productive or most efficient or most energetic? And you schedule your task in alignment with those efficient or energetic time periods. And you create a schedule that works for you, your business, and your clients. And so the reason I think this is important is because when you're working as a solo entrepreneur and there's really no accountability, and you're working from home and you're working online and you get to create your own schedule. In the beginning, that's really liberating and empowering, and it creates a lot of freedom, but it can also be really hard in the beginning. It can be hard to implement boundaries and consistency as you figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And when you're working from home, it can feel like you're always working and there's always these tasks and it's always on your mind. So instead of clients just picking any slot or texting you last minute, you decide, when am I doing what in my business? When am I coaching? When am I available? When am I most efficient? So I'll give you a quick example. So right now, my schedule for Q2 of 2025 looks like Monday is my creation day. So here's where we do a lot of the behind the scenes creation: writing and recording YouTubes, podcast episodes, social media copy, our coach question of the week, our email lists, anything like that. Tuesdays are one-on-one coaching days for my high-level one-on-one clients. Wednesdays and Thursdays are a lot of my group programs, so the art and skill of coaching. And then Fridays are my CEO days. This is usually when we do team meetings, accounting, any overflow in terms of task management or projects or special gigs that I need to work on. So that helps me stay in that zone of genius and be efficient and productive because I'm not only batching my content, but I'm also working between usually 10 or 11 a.m. to about 3 or 4 p.m. And I know that that sounds like a really ideal schedule for a lot of people, but for me, those are my most effective, energetic, focused times. So that's when I'm facing clients. And then sometimes I'll have an evening work block, usually from like 8 p.m. to midnight. That works for me because I'm a night owl and I don't have a lot of distractions during that time. And so sometimes I'll do a creative block during that time. And that changes based on the season of my life and the season of my business. So here's the third tip I have for you in terms of creating not just a successful but sustainable business, and it's monitoring your back-end processes. So again, this is also something you can do during a deep work day, but here, this is important because you can't grow what you can't sustain. So in the beginning, it's okay to hustle, it's okay to grind, it's okay to try a lot of new things, but if you want to establish yourself as a coach and you want to establish your business to be consistent, instead of throwing mud at the wall and hoping it sticks or only showing up when you need work or need clients, or once you hit a goal, you go ghost in your business, it's important to run your business like a business. You might not have a traditional brick and mortar where there's operating hours and people show up at your door and it's expected to be open, but we do want to still run our business with some type of similarity in terms of working business hours and availability. So you want to identify what are your systems and ideally streamline them. So when I talk systems, I'm talking about what is your consultation process? What is your onboarding process for new clients? What is your process for payments and agreements? Do you have any type of evaluation, feedback? Do you have wrap-up or backends? Do you work clients through an offer funnel? Is there any type of structure around client communications before, during, or after coaching calls? And where can you automate, if not streamline or delegate those processes out? And what this helps you do is keep your brain in the coaching mindset versus getting sucked into the administrative part of your business. So this is creating strategic processes and systems in your business that are in alignment with your values, your processes, your clientele, and your long-term vision. And let me say this before we move on. I understand that every client is unique, okay? I'm not naive to not think that I've been doing this work for 15 years, but here's what I will say. Your process should not be unique for every single client. It's exhausting. It can't be taught if you ever try to scale. It can't be duplicated, and you can't manage that if you're trying to grow and increase your client acquisition. So I would encourage you to focus on what actually works and do evaluations and track your IPAs, which are your income producing activities, and create some type of system that works for the unique process that you're utilizing. And if this is kind of overwhelming to you and you don't even know where to start, I will say inside of ASC, which is the Art and Skill of Coaching, our coach certification program, I actually kick off the program by teaching my back office to my coaches. I show them my unique process for organic marketing, my one call consultation system, and it is complete with scripts and platforms and actual forms and emails. I share exactly what I do to maintain my six-figure coaching business year after year with a $0 marketing budget, a one-call consultation system that has a 75% closing ratio, and a simple onboarding system that gets done in 5 to 10 minutes where clients are set up, scheduled, and already have their first coaching session within 7 days. And I'll call this out too, that sometimes what I've heard is that coaches avoid the structure because they think it feels impersonal and too salesy. But you have to remember that yes, you are a coach, but you are also an entrepreneur and that you need to run a business. Okay. And that structure creates safety. When I can stay in leadership and when I know clearly what the next steps are and I can lead a client through a tough decision or their first time doing something new, like hiring a coach and maybe getting access to some of these platforms, if I can make it simple and easy and quick, it actually builds hope and fosters trust and keeps them in excitement versus confusion and overwhelm. When they feel like I know what I'm doing and I've done it before and it's easy and it's quick, it instills hope, which is actually a desired emotion for a lot of the individuals early on in their new coaching endeavor. And for you as the coach, when you have structure and it creates safety, you're no longer stuck in hustle and survival. You have the space and clarity in your schedule. You have the stability in your client acquisition and therefore in your income and fulfillment in your work because you're not boggled down by trying to figure it out. You know exactly what you're doing. And when you can implement deep work days, calendar audits, and back-end processes, that will create a successful and sustainable coaching practice. And if you want success in creating some systems in your business and in your coaching sessions, then the Art and Skill of Coaching is 100% for you. This coach training program is where good coaches go to become great. We teach and train you in the best practices supported by science, and we teach you the systems and the skill sets needed to consistently facilitate deep change for your clients. Listen, there is a science to change. There is a science to human development and growth, and we break it down in a comprehensive and advanced 6-month course. We graduate the most competent and confident and capable coaches on the market. So if this is the next step in your business, definitely go ahead and click on that link and apply today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please leave us a review or comment or share this link with individuals that can help. And thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a new training or episode to help you master the art and skill of coaching.